Introducing a completely redesigned experience that you can sense. And that senses you. The new Dell Latitude laptops bring your work closer to you.
Tonight, breaking news, players ordered off the MCG and fans told to take cover as wild storms hit Melbourne. Holiday nightmare, a Victorian father and grandfather drowned trying to save a toddler from a Gold Coast hotel pool. Exclusive, the shocking moment a man armed with a hammer attempts to steal a ute in Richmond. 3 armed teens clocked travelling at 200 k's an hour during a wild chase. A drenching delays stall but fails to stop Ringwood's Jack Lacey in the gift. And a brutal double injury blow for the Tigers, Tom Lynch and Noah Bolter sidelined.
This is Melbourne's 9 News with Tom Steinfort.
Good evening. Wild storms are lashing Melbourne with extraordinary scenes at the MCG. The Geelong-Hawthorn match halted because of safety fears over lightning. Tony Jones joins me with the latest on this breaking story. TJ, the AFL is really taking no chances here.
No, absolutely. Extraordinary scenes at the MCG, really. I mean, the game wasn't exactly in the balance, but then nobody could have seen this coming. I mean, the AFL's got a fair bit on their radar, but this one should have actually been on their radar. You can see the scoreboard just alerting spectators to take cover because lightning was in the area. And as you say, they are taking it seriously. They do have a duty of care and they are exercising that. So once that decision was made at three-quarter time, the players went back into their respective rooms. This was the moment that the umpires made the call.
We're going to a stop game with lightning. All right, so off to your rooms. Off to your rooms.
We're just listening to the umpires there.
Off to your rooms. Yeah, we've got to go.
Okay.
You've got a lightning delay.
Pretty amazing. You don't see this too often. Well, how does this play out if the game doesn't resume?
Well, this is the extraordinary thing, and I think this is going to cause a fair bit of debate over the next few days because the rule is such. Now, they've obviously got a reason for this. The rule is such. The winner, even though Geelong was up by 6 goals at three-quarter time when the game was halted, if Hawthorn had have been leading by a point or two at half-time, Hawthorn's declared the winner. So essentially it's whoever is leading at half-time, even though Geelong was 6 goals up at three-quarter time.
So hopefully that won't be the problem now because it does appear we're getting information that the game will be getting underway again shortly.
Yeah, that's right. So I reckon in the next minute or so they'll start warming up and then we're being told by the AFL 6:11 is what we're being told by the AFL that game will actually resume. So it's been quite extraordinary. It's not the first time this has happened. A few years ago over in Perth, there was a 29-minute delay. As it stands at the moment, this will be about a 42-minute delay. So it's not the first time it's happened, but it's certainly one for the history books because we had a hailstorm wreak havoc at Waverley years and years ago. We had snow in Canberra. We've had heat issues. And now, of course, we've had the lightning. But it's pretty serious stuff. And as such, the AFL has acted accordingly. But that rule has got to be addressed.
Yep, some excitement in an otherwise dull game as well. Tony, thank you. Well, we're going to have more on that heavy rainfall now because the accompanying strong winds are having a real impact right across Victoria at the moment, especially for those heading home from the long weekend. Let's head to Mimi Becker, joining us live from the Hume Freeway at Calcallo. Mimi, take us through what it's like out there at the moment.
Well, Tom, the rain is continuing to fall. It's been about an hour or so with patches of really heavy rainfall. There's also continuous rumbles of thunder and lightning strikes across the horizon. This, of course, is forcing drivers to slow down and drive to the conditions. So the Hume Freeway is a little slower than normal. It is incredibly busy with those people who have been away for long weekends returning to Melbourne this evening. The Hume Freeway here is a major pinch point according to live traffic, but most other major arterials are holding up, but this weather is really forcing drivers to slow down and take care. It is expected those storms will continue into the night, so these roads are only going to get busier, Tom.
All right, Mimi Becker there with the latest from Calcallo. Madeline Spark is with us now. Maddie, how's the weather expected to play out over the next few hours?
Yeah, well, Tom, this current band of storms and rain should stay with us until around 8 o'clock, and then we should get a break for a couple of hours, and that's when the heaviest rain is expected to hit. And the Bureau has told me that will continue through until around dawn, delivering more than 50 millimetres across Melbourne. And these here are the current warnings: severe thunderstorms in the area here in the state's west, with the risk of heavy rain, large hail and damaging winds, and a more general warning for heavy rain causing flash flooding across central parts. And this warning also includes the threat of damaging winds across the Central Ranges tonight and Eastern Ranges tomorrow morning. So some wild weather to wrap up the Easter break, Tom.
All right, we'll see you again shortly, Maddie. Thank you. A man armed with a hammer has threatened 2 people and attempted to steal their car on Victoria Street in Richmond. Laura Turner joins me live with the exclusive details on this one. Laura, you actually witnessed the incident unfold.
Hey, Tom, this was about 12:30 this afternoon, so broad daylight on Victoria Street, Richmond, when we have seen this man standing next to 2 late model Jeeps. He's swinging a hammer at the 2 men who belong to those cars, trying to get inside one of them. And you actually see in that footage that he actually gets inside at one point, but pretty quickly gets out again. We presume he wasn't able to start the vehicle. He then appears to walk away pretty casually, still sort of swinging that hammer around, but it's when he returns for whatever reason that he then starts smashing into the window of one of those cars repeatedly with that hammer. So people were standing back quite stunned as to what they were witnessing here. And we presume that everyone was quite frightened and didn't want to chase him because he just walked away into the back streets of Richmond. But it was about 20 minutes later that police actually caught up with him in a laneway off Lennox Street. That is where the driver who was hit with that hammer was treated by ambulance paramedics as well, and where this man has been arrested, and an interview with police has then taken place after that. But they've told us they haven't actually charged him as yet, so we wait to see whether that happens tonight, Tom.
Frightening pictures there, Laura, thank you. A Victorian family's Easter holiday to Surfers Paradise has ended in tragedy, with a father and grandfather drowning in a hotel pool trying to save a toddler. As Eliza Rugg explains, the little girl's mother survived despite also not being able to swim.
A terrible scene at the rooftop pool of a Surfers Paradise resort. Just before 7 o'clock last night, paramedics rushed to the top of the Mark apartment near Cavill Avenue, after receiving a call that 2 men were in cardiac arrest by the hotel pool.
Despite receiving specialist care on scene, which included our high acuity response unit, both of those patients were unable to be revived.
38-year-old Sonny Randhawa died, along with his 65-year-old father.
It's a very big blow to their family. Maybe God take good people early, so that's what happened.
Sonny's 2-year-old daughter had slipped and fallen into the deep end of the pool. The girl's mother jumped in first but couldn't swim. Somehow she and the little girl survived. But when Sonny and his father also entered the water to help, they couldn't get out.
It tends to not really matter in terms of the depth of the pool if you're not a strong swimmer.
Bystanders pulled the men out of the water with an off-duty doctor performing CPR. The tragedy unfolding in front of hotel guests with a pool view.
I was really sad and upset because I was looking at it.
The toddler's mother was taken to hospital.
Obviously an emotional state, but in a stable condition.
I promised to his wife that as a brother, whatever we can as our friends can help, we will do.
Eliza Rugg, 9 News.
A wild police pursuit through Melbourne's northwest has come to a dramatic end with the arrest of 3 teenagers accused of travelling at 200 kilometres an hour. They're believed to have been threatening 2 families with a machete during violent home invasions at Mickleham. Crime reporter Gillian Lantouris.
They're not even old enough to drive a car, but that didn't stop these 3 teenagers from leading police on a dangerous game of cat and mouse. By 10 a.m, it was game over.
Oh, they got 2 people. So one's on the ground in handcuffs. They got zip ties on him.
One by one, they were handcuffed and marched into a divvy van in Sunbury in front of stunned shoppers and staff.
People running and it was just crazy. Helicopters going and, yeah, I don't know. It was just a crazy morning.
I guess someone's been in the naughty books.
The young thugs are accused of terrorising at least 3 families in Mickleham around 6:30 this morning. This 36-year-old resident was asleep along with his 2 young children when a teenager broke into his home.
He just removed a machete from his jacket and started threatening me.
Fleeing with 2 watches, the group then sped to Tippy Wong's house nearby.
They demand the car keys. Yeah, we all were in shock.
Minutes later, the group attempted to carjack another victim, but by then, police had them in their sights. The stolen Pathfinder was tracked by the air wing through Wyndham Vale, Werribee and suburbs northwest of Melbourne, reaching speeds of up to 200 kilometres per hour.
I couldn't believe how quick it was going. It was absolutely flying, this car.
Witnesses have told 9 News pedestrians and shoppers had to leap out of the way of the speeding vehicle before the pursuit came to a crashing end here in this underground car park. A 16-year-old Wyndham Vale boy and 2 15-year-old girls from Ivanhoe and Windsor are being questioned by detectives. Gillian Lantouris, 9 News.
There's been a last-minute twist in the Bruce Lerman defamation case against Network 10 and its star presenter, Lisa Wilkinson. Mark Burrows with more on this late development.
We had thought we'd heard all the evidence. Federal Court Justice Michael Lee was due to hand down his decision on Thursday. Lerman is suing 10 and Wilkinson, alleging their interview with Brittany Higgins defamed him by suggesting he raped Higgins in Parliament House 5 years ago. Now we will hear an application from Network 10 late tomorrow seeking to introduce new evidence to help its defence. We understand that new evidence centres on claims about how Channel 7 obtained material used in its interview with Lerman. That material included text messages from Brittany Higgins and an audio tape of a pre-recorded interview between Higgins and presenter Lisa Wilkinson. That material was from the criminal trial and not made public, but it somehow made its way to Channel 7. A former producer at 7, Taylor Albach, in an untested affidavit is reportedly claiming it was Lerman who gave it to Channel 7, and that's something Lerman has denied through his lawyers in the federal court. Network 10 will likely be claiming the evidence is relevant as to whether Lerman is a truthful and reliable witness.
A Braybrook Play Centre has been firebombed for the 3rd time in 4 days. Detectives believe the same offenders targeted the business on Friday night, Saturday morning and in the early hours of today, smashing their way inside and lighting fires. They're looking into whether a group kicked out of the centre on Friday is connected.
We're trying to work out any links that they may have, whether it's some issues with the owners or the tenants or something completely random, but we don't really have any solid leads on that at this stage.
Police are now conducting extra patrols in the area. King Charles looked at ease as he mingled with the public for the first time since revealing he has cancer. Brett McLeod tells us the surprise Windsor walkabout after an Easter Sunday church service delighted royal supporters.
Smiling, chatting and close to the public. We haven't seen images of the King like this since it was revealed he had cancer almost 2 months ago.
Hope you haven't got too cold.
Joined by other members of the royal family for the Easter service at St George's Chapel on the grounds of Windsor Castle. These were Charles' first steps back into contact with the public. After weeks of being kept away from others as he has treatment, he returned to shaking hands, as many as he could, getting messages of encouragement in return.
Happy Easter, Mercy. Keep going strong. Keep going strong. Never give in.
I have to obey my instructions, replied the King.
Pleased to see him up and about and wishing him well. I think it's really important for the nation to see how well he's doing and how strong he's feeling.
Unlike previous years, Kate, William and their children celebrated Easter privately as the Princess of Wales continues her cancer therapy. While this is the most that Charles has been amongst people since his cancer diagnosis, it's not a full return to public life. That could still be weeks, if not months away. Aides say he hopes to take part in large-scale major events in June, such as Trooping the Colour and the D-Day anniversary. For now, at least, positive signs as the King gets more hands-on while returning to duties. In London, Brett McLeod, 9 News.
Today's deluge wreaked havoc at one of Australia's most prestigious running races. The Stawell Gift was almost cancelled for the first time in its history because of that bad weather. Amber Johnston was there.
In amongst a washout, a display of athletic resilience takes to the starting line, among them one of Australia's best Olympic hopes. Peter Bowl battling unrelenting rain and a 32-metre handicap to fall agonisingly short of a victory, pipped by Victorian Riley Bryce.
Oh, can he get there? Not sure.
The Tokyo Olympic star painfully cold but still taking a moment for his adoring fans.
It was amazing, amazing.
But if there's anything stronger than the determination of an Olympic athlete, it's the Victorian community spirit. The stall gift delayed by 2 hours but still going ahead despite a severe weather warning.
Coming home strongly is Ireland on the inside, but I think the outside got it.
Jack Lacey from Ringwood now $40,000 richer.
I don't know really what's going through my head at the moment. Just excited.
Queensland's Chloe Mannix Power, the women's champion.
It's here, it's over. I'm stoked. I'm not going to say what was going through my head because I'll get in trouble.
Fast forward a few hours earlier and the track was almost unrecognisable.
It must be a swimming race now.
They might have to change it to the 100-metre swim.
35 millimetres dumped in just half an hour, and that wasn't the biggest concern.
We've had lightning strikes, so please make sure you do the right thing.
A crowd of 7,000 spectators ditching their seats to run for cover, still stunned by nature's unbelievable show of force. The broadcast cut off as telecast gear is soaked along with the electrics.
All the work we go in for 12 months and it turns out like this.
Almost as impressive as the racing itself is just how quick the track has managed to drain this here, a stark difference to the unbelievable scenes we saw half an hour ago. The stall gift has been cancelled 5 times since 1878, but never due to bad weather, and organisers weren't prepared to break that record.
The athletes are telling me this is great for them, it's a little bit cooler.
Be careful what you wish for. Amber Johnston, 9 News.
Tony Jones is back now. A bit happening on your beat today, Tony.
Bit happening on the weather beat, bit happening on the... We just don't see this sort of weather in Melbourne, do we? It's sort of normally what you see in Sydney and Brisbane, but never here in Melbourne. But anyway, Tom, with play now resuming at the MCG because of that lightning threat, it would appear the biggest threat for Hawthorn has come in the form of the milestone man, Tom Hawkins.
Geelong are getting on top.
Hawkins around the corner, kicks the goal. Hawkins got 3.
Now, the other big story tonight is at Punt Road. Tom Lynch is headed for surgery. We'll let you know just how long he'll be out. Noah Bolter also in a world of pain. The Bulldogs, well, they're not without their concerns, namely that man. But there's some good news on the injury front for the Blues. While in other sport, Josh sets a new NBA record and the EPL on red alert as Liverpool, well, they're just fab. Tom Lynch, Tom Hawkins, Tom Steinfort. I'm Tom Dowd.
Not very creative parents in that area, were they? Very good. Thank you, Tony. When 9 News returns, illegal painkillers hitting Melbourne streets. The new drug wave prompting fears of more deadly overdoses. Flames glow in the night sky as fire tears through a Geelong factory. And the weird and wacky April Fool's Day pranks keeping Victorians on their toes.
9 News, brought to you by the all-new, all-electric Toyota BZ4X. Charge on. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
A young motorcyclist has died after hitting a power pole in Oakley South last night. The man had just left a car and a motorbike meet when witnesses saw him attempt a wheelie and lose control on Warrigal Road. Paramedics worked on him for more than half an hour, but he was unable to be saved. A Geelong factory has been engulfed by flames. Crews were called to the building in Moolap shortly after midnight. They contained the fire and remained on site for hours to combat the smouldering, while investigators then examined what remained this afternoon. There are fears Victoria will be hit with a wave of a deadly type of synthetic heroin. Drug rehabilitation providers warn fentanyl addiction could cost hundreds of lives. Laura Turner again.
Victoria's addiction to illicit drugs is confronting, but the warnings of what's to come are even worse. Synthetic heroin, or fentanyl, is on its way.
While it's not here yet in Melbourne in vast quantities, we've certainly seen it on the streets, and when it comes, it's going to be devastating and we're not prepared.
Fentanyl has already caused tens of thousands of deaths in America, but this man, who didn't want to be identified, has used it on the streets of Melbourne a number of times already.
We mulled it up in the toilets and we had it. That's the first time I ever used it, and it was like 10 times stronger than heroin.
The new report, commissioned by the Victorian Alcohol and Drugs Administration, says 549 people died from fatal overdoses in Victoria last year, the highest number since 2020 and the highest number of heroin-related deaths since the year 2000. The alcohol and other drug sector says there is so much more the government could be doing, but isn't.
Having a supervised injecting facility, having drug checking available, making sure people can access replacement treatment, they're all simple things the government can do that will stop people from dying.
The state government says it has doubled its investment in the past 10 years to $372 million to try and get people out of our laneways and off our streets and into rehab services. The government argues it is prepared.
This is an ongoing conversation with health, with police, with the AFP, and they'll continue to do that.
Fentanyl's potency is 50 times that of heroin.
Just 2 grams of salt worth of it can cause a fatal overdose.
Drug users warning this will be a Victorian game of Russian roulette.
Buckle up, you know what I mean? Sure, if that's the go. You know what I mean?
It's a hell of a ride.
Well, it will be.
Laura Turner, 9 News.
April 1st, the day when fools rush in, and today there were plenty of traps to trick the unsuspecting. As Mark Santomartino discovered, some of this he's offering were the real deal.
If fighting for an aeroplane armrest can raise a few eyebrows, so too can the idea of charging for them. $2 to reserve your armrest in advance had Jetstar customers in a spin before realising the airline's rest assured guarantee was as fake as these police-issued Crocs. But these days, it's easy to be an April Fool when the ridiculous becomes reality.
Pickle and vodka is real.
Bilson's Brewery in Beechworth actually made and sold out of 1,000 cans of its pickle and vodka mixer. Its 5 other cheeseburger-inspired flavours, including cheese, beef and onion, were fake.
It smells like pickle. It legitimately smells real. That's awesome.
Pickle-flavoured donuts also made an appearance at Daniel's Donuts, while under the guise of an April 1 joke, the man behind Jim's Mowing launched a political party believing he can be Victoria's Premier.
People like teachers and nurses, in my view, are grossly underpaid.
A slip and slide down Parliament Station and off the side of a Royal Caribbean cruise were at least obvious fakes, like ideas for a mustard-flavoured sundae and a Big M that tastes like hot chips. Even the promise of a foot-long fairy bread turned out to be nothing more than an April Fool's Day hoax, despite being incredibly easy to make yourself, which begs the question, even if the idea is weird and wild, why can't it be available all year round?
I saw it and I was like, oh, that looks yum as.
We don't take ourselves too seriously. We don't want our customers to take us too seriously. They know it's all a laugh.
Mark Santomartino.
Happy April Fools!
9 News.
All right, still to come, they are smart, but are they safe? Why robot vacuums and high-tech fridges are sparking privacy fears. Plus the extreme measures women are taking to get tradie jobs. And the wayward wallaby that somehow ended up sky high. There's new advice tonight over the safety of cow's milk for babies, and it could prove to be a more affordable alternative during the cost of living crisis. Here's Jane Azzopardi.
The World Health Organisation has long recommended that babies be exclusively breastfed for the first 6 months of their life. That hasn't changed. It's the next 6 months where there's now controversy. Australia's current guidelines say that between 6 and 12 months, as babies are introduced to solid food, they should only be fed breast milk or infant formula. We're told cow's milk should not be introduced until a child's first birthday. But the WHO has now updated its guidelines to say cow's milk is a safe alternative to formula after 6 months of age. A study finding that in non-breastfed babies between 6 and 11 months old, the use of cow's milk was unlikely to affect growth outcomes. It may, however, come with an increased risk of anemia. With a tin of formula now selling for between $20 and $45 depending on the brand, that could bring significant savings during this cost of living crisis. Parents, though, should consult their GPs before making any decisions.
Bells Beach will remain home to the Rip Curl Pro for another 4 years, with the event locked in until 2028. The world's longest-running surfing competition attracts a roll call of the globe's best surfers. The Victorian government says it injects millions of dollars into the Surf Coast region. Well, Jimmy Barnes is back from the brink, kicking off his Australian tour at Byron Bay's Blues Fest. The legendary rocker, who recently recovered from open heart surgery, wowed the crowd with a show-stopping performance. Michelle Tapper has the story.
How are you feeling?
Well, just a bit nervous. It's the first show back, since surgery. And, people are going, well, don't go up there and pop a valve. I go, was I going to pop a valve? Am I? No, but I'm good.
Behind the scenes and backstage with Barnesy at Blues Fest. It's been 3 months since emergency open heart surgery after a deadly blood infection turned life-threatening.
There was a time where I thought I might die, but I knew that if I got back on my feet, I'd be singing again. The best thing I can do is get out and sing, because that's what makes me feel human. It's making me feel good.
With his battle scar on display, this 67-year-old knows he's lucky to be alive.
They actually did it on top of the scar I had like 16 years ago. It's a good reminder of your mortality, and and that we're all here for a good time, and it reminds me to tell the people that I love how much I love them every day.
He's given it a good go at many points over the years, but in recent times he's been so well and so healthy. So I guess we're just really grateful that he was that fit and healthy, so that this didn't win.
Once a hard-living, hard-partying, working-class man, Jimmy's now focused on his fitness and health.
I'm swimming about 1 kilometre a day. I'm doing Pilates.
No jumping off platforms or things like that?
No, nothing like that tonight.
So it's a different Jimmy Barnes.
No, only for now.
And I'm sure that everybody's going to be so psyched to have you out there tonight.
It's going to be great.
And tonight, it's a family affair, with wife Jane joining him on stage and daughter Mahalia. And Jimmy's doing what he loves best, belting out hits for adoring fans. Not only is this Blues Fest gig an epic comeback for Jimmy Barnes, it's also a celebration of his Flesh and Wood album, and he's showcasing a number of those songs here tonight and lots of other crowd favourites. Tickets are on sale for Jimmy's National Red Hot Summer Tour, which continues until June. Michelle Tapper, 9 News.
Great to see him back now from one working class man to another. Tony Jones.
Yes, the blue collar all the way, Tommy. Anyway, coming up after the break, all the drama from that lightning-affected game at the MCG. But wait, there's more, because Tom Morris will be joining us live with details of yet more controversy from that match. Lightning strikes twice at Tigerland with the loss of Tom and Noah. Excitement rises at the Blues with the vice-captain nearing his return. And Josh celebrates history at the Mecca of basketball.
Incredibly fun, remarkably functional, and effortlessly stylish. Introducing the all-new Ford Puma. A compact SUV that really packs a punch. Looking good has never been this easy. Secure yours today. The all-new Ford Puma. Effortlessly stylish.
Well, Geelong fans are singing in the rain tonight, having survived the threat of lightning and a spirited fight back from Hawthorn to score a memorable win at the MCG. The Cats, well, they got off to a lightning start, leading at every quarter to eventually win by 36 points only about a minute ago. Xander Maguire reports.
Led out by one of the best to pull on the hoops from the start of Game 350, it was the Tom Hawkins show.
Hawkins manicures it magnificently. What about that?
That was an early smack in the face for Hawthorn, their inability to convert adding insult to injury.
And he goes to ground. Can you believe that?
Hawkins bagged his second before quarter time, making it 7 goals to 1.
They are on fire, 6 in a row.
Still, it didn't dampen the spirit of these young Hawks, soaring high in a daring second-term comeback. And while they still might be a bit rough around the edges...
And Watson goes, no. He has missed from point-blank range.
This defiant outfit wasn't going down without a fight.
Can they tackle him? Not without scoring, they can't. Tempers are fraying here. And this is typical Hawthorn and Geelong.
But it was the experience of Geelong that came to the fore, the Cats piling on 6 goals to 2 in the third, with the milestone man right in the thick of it.
Geelong are getting on top.
Hawkins around the corner, kicks the goal.
Still, they weren't without headaches. Hawkins sporting a limp at the final break. That didn't stop him or Stewart taking the field in the fourth. Only the Lightning could do that.
We're going to a stop game with Lightning, all right?
That dramatic 42-minute break ensued, and when they returned, the rain was heavier than before they left. Perfect for two crafty small forwards.
Ginnivan plays on and kicks a goal. Kolodjasny to the front, Watson. Here we go.
But it was too little, too late. Geelong's undefeated start continues, and the Hawks winless. Xander Maguire, 9 News.
Well, as if there hasn't been enough drama in that match, Chief Football reporter Tom Morris joins us live now with more controversy from the G. Tom?
Yeah, Tony, tonight the AFL is looking into footage which shows that Tom Hawkins, the 350 gamer, looking at his phone in the rain break. Now, albeit it looks very innocent, but the reference point here is 2021 when Jeremy Howe and Jordan Ngoe were caught looking at their phone as well during a game. On this occasion, Collingwood were fined $20,000. Andrew Dillon said at the time, the rules clearly state there is no mobile phone usage in the change rooms permitted by anyone who is not an authorised device carrier. I understand this Geelong staffer is an authorised device carrier. The issue is, Tony, he's handed the phone to Tom Hawkins. Of course, this is an integrity issue, and the AFL will make a further ruling in the next 24 to 48 hours.
All right, I'm sure you'll be right on top of it, Tom Morris there. Well, it's been a devastating day on the injury front for Richmond. Forward Tom Lynch is set to undergo surgery, ruling him out for much of the season. And Noah Bolter has damaged a medial ligament. Trent Neese with the story.
Mid-morning in Melbourne, it was quiet on our roads, but at Scans, it was bumper to bumper. The majority of the traffic coming from Tigerland, with Tom Lynch, Noah Bolter and Liam Baker all making an appearance for an X-ray.
Oh, just a couple of whacks on the knee. It should be right, though.
Lynch, not so lucky. A severe hamstring tendon injury has him set to undergo surgery, meaning he could miss at least 10 weeks of footy. Noah Bolter has a moderate MCL injury that will keep him out of the game for 3 to 5 weeks.
The pain doesn't stop there for Richmond, with Liam Baker ruled out for one match for this bump on Sydney's Lewis Malikan.
The hit labelled by the MRO as careless conduct with medium impact. Injuries not sustained to only the Tigers, the Bulldogs with headaches of their own. Cody Waitman suffered another dislocated elbow, but it was all smiles this morning.
I think the damage was done the first time I did it, so it's actually it's feeling all right. The bionic arms, and it's an interesting look, but hopefully get out of this at the end of the week.
For now, Waitman is keeping positive, even if it is the second time he's suffered the injury.
Yeah, I played last time the next week, and it was probably pretty sore in that game, but I feel like I'm already ahead of last time as of the next day. So, yeah, I planning to play or prepare as if I'm going to play.
Teammate Tom Liberatore spotted at Scans with a compression bandage on his right knee. Adam Treloar also sent for a checkup. However, there's no major concerns.
Yeah, going good. No, precaution. It's just the old body, just occasionally get some checkups. So, yeah, going good.
And Melbourne fans could be set for good news, with Simon Goodwin confirming Stephen May is on track to return this week. Trent Neese, 9 News.
If Carlton fans weren't already excited about the start to the year, the sight of Sam Walsh training provides yet more optimism. Walsh has been dealing with back issues, meaning he's missed the Blues' first 3 games.
I think the Blues fans will be excited to see him kind of do his thing, and I know he's a pretty angry man when he's not playing football, so I'm excited to see him back out there for all our sakes.
Carlton will take on the undefeated Dockers on Saturday afternoon during gather round at Adelaide Oval. Brisbane has been at pains to play down speculation that its winless start to the season is linked to a controversial end-of-season footy trip to Las Vegas. Footy boss Danny Daly today trying to put an end to the scuttlebutt.
I will again strongly say today there is no divide in our playing group, and our leaders have again confirmed this, and whatever happened on that trip wasn't to the extent that the football club needed to know about it.
Lions have a chance to completely put that controversy to rest when they meet North Melbourne on Friday night, but Caroline Wilson joins us now ahead of Footy Classified. Caro, nothing to see here apparently?
Well, I don't know if they'll put it to rest by beating North Melbourne. I think that would be a shock if they didn't beat North Melbourne, Tony. But I do believe Brisbane, when they insist, this hasn't divided the playing group. I disagree, however, with my colleague Tom Morris that it was not a reportable story. Brisbane have had a terrible start to the season. They did go on an end-of-season trip, a trip where some electronic issues, some internet issues caused some problems with players and their partners and some angst between some in the playing group. It was resolved, we're told, last November. I mean, these pictures are pretty innocuous, aren't they?
Well, yeah.
I mean, I think there's been some misreporting. I don't think I know they never went to Las Vegas. Most of those pictures were taken in either Nashville or Los Angeles. And I think the club dealt with it. Well, they say they didn't need to deal with it at the time. But a week from hell from Brisbane in many ways. They lost yet another key defender to a knee injury. They lost to Collingwood. And, of course, Chris Fagan had his issues with the Human Rights Commission.
OK, Cara, a lot to discuss on Footy Classifieds, not least some unrest at the Sydney Swans as well. I know you'll address that. So we'll see you tonight on Footy Classified.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Caroline Wilson there. And finally in sport tonight, Josh Giddey has continued his hot run of form, recording his third triple-double of the season. Now, the Aussie had 16 points, 13 rebounds and 12 assists, becoming the first player in NBA history to score a triple-double in each of his first 3 games at Madison Square Garden.
Giddey spins, Giddey inside, layup is good. Giddey having another strong game. He's got a triple-double now.
His Oklahoma City Thunder currently sit second in the league, so yet another stellar performance there by the young Australian. Talk about giddy. I think we're all giddy after today's AFL. It's just been, wow, one hit after another.
Oh, you can relax. Off to Adelaide now.
Yes, we are. I'll talk to you from Adelaide tomorrow for Gather Round.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Tony. Well, Madeline Spark returns now with more on the weather. Maddie, how long is this rain going to be sticking around for?
Yeah, well, Tom, it's expected to actually get heavier tonight, so it will be a very wet night, and then the rain should ease to showers around dawn, and they'll hang around for most of tomorrow. I'll have the full forecast for you next.
Switch on a Daikin Alira X split system with advanced streamer technology to remove more than 99% of harmful indoor air pollutants and surround yourself with cleaner air this summer. Daikin, perfecting the air.
Hello again. After our driest March on record, the rain has arrived with a vengeance for the start of April. We got a final burst of warmth with a top of 28 in the city this morning, but it certainly cooled off once the first of the showers arrived, and it's currently sitting on 19 degrees. Avalon, Viewbank, Yarra Glen and Moorabbin reached 30 degrees earlier today, but they've dropped back to 19 now. Rainfall totals are already building around Melbourne. There's been 16 millimetres at Heathmont, 14 at Epping, and the rain is expected to become even heavier from around 10 p.m. There's been totals of more than 20 millimetres through parts of Western Victoria, and this rain band will continue to move easterly, but it's not expected to reach the far east of the state until after midnight. The current thunderstorm warning is for areas in the far north and also some parts of South Gippsland. There's also a warning for heavy rain across central parts of the state, along with damaging winds across the central ranges tonight and eastern ranges in the morning. The unusually heavy rain has been caused by 2 systems coming together, one bringing tropical moisture from the north and another bringing cold air from the south, and the resulting instability has triggered the widespread thunderstorm activity. Tasmania will also be impacted by the system with up to 25 millimetres forecast for Hobart tomorrow, lighter showers for Canberra and Sydney, dry skies and a top of 29 for Brisbane. Back home, eastern districts will record the heaviest rain tomorrow with up to 40 millimetres forecast for Warragul, 25 in Sale, 20 in Shepparton, and there'll also be heavy rain across alpine areas with damaging winds expected as well. So it will be a much cooler day statewide, just the high teens through the southwest and the low 20s elsewhere. And the heaviest rain will fall while Melbourne is asleep. The bulk of these totals, ranging from 10 to 40 millimetres, are likely to fall before dawn. Then light showers will continue for the rest of the day, and it will be cold and windy. So although it'll reach the high teens and low 20s, feels like temperatures will be considerably lower. And Geelong is only expected to get some light showers tomorrow. After a low of 14, it's forecast to reach 20 degrees. Another 20 millimetres of rain for Melbourne after midnight, and it's also heading for 20 tomorrow. A shower or 2 on Wednesday and cooler again, down to 17 degrees, along with some chilly westerly winds. And then some dry skies finally on Thursday, a top of 18. A little more sunshine around on Friday, along with a top of 21. 22 degrees on Saturday, partly cloudy, and then 21 on Sunday, but some cloud around and the chance of a shower or 2. And a top of 20 degrees next Monday. But we've got a very wet night ahead of us. The rain will ease to showers around dawn. Then tomorrow, a low of 15 and a top of 20. So the rainy forecast was no April Fool's joke today.
No, never doubted you, Maddie. All right, thank you. And that is 9 News for this Monday. Ali is up next with the current affair. From all of us, have a great evening. Good night.